What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. A little bit groggy. I just woke up from a nap. I actually got up 8 o'clock this morning. Mowed the lawn. And then ran and did some grocery shopping. Came back home. Played video games for about an hour and then went to sleep and passed the fuck out. And I only slept for like an hour and 20. Just a little cat nap, man, but was dreaming so fucking deep. Just been playing some Zelda, doing side quest shit on Oracle of Ages. I'm starting a new dungeon. And grinding on Zelda 2. So whenever those games are beat, I'll do reviews on those. Go check out my Zelda reviews in the Zelda playlist. But yeah, I gotta work today. So listen to this shit, man. Yesterday I was working. And this dude comes through drive-thru while me and my coworker are doing paperwork. So Clark's is a 24/7 gas station, but we do shut down at like 11:45 till midnight to do paperwork and close the store down for the day, and then reopen again. It's only 15-20 minutes. So we're shut down doing paperwork and somebody comes through drive-thru. The bell goes off and my coworker goes to the window and he's like, "Hey dude, we're closed, blah blah blah." And then he turns around and goes, "Dude, that dude is on something." And he said, like, I was telling him, like, we're closed and stuff, and the guy was just like yeah, fucking tore up, dude. And so the dude like parks in the parking lot, and I had totally forgot about him. So midnight comes around, I clock out. They're still doing a little bit more paperwork, so the doors are still locked. And I go outside, and dude, this chick cop is so fucking smoking hot. And you guys know me, like, I'm into like pale, brunette, skinny, chicks. But this chick's like a blonde, not really chunky, just like very meaty, got meat on her bones. But it's a cop, dude. And she's like, "Are you all open?" And I'm like, "No," because I'm walking to the car. She calls me over. And I'm like, "No, not probably for about like 5 minutes." She's like, "I gotta pee really bad." And I'm like, "Well, go knock on the door." I said, "If Ange sees it's you, my coworker, he'll open the door," because he opens the door for cops. We don't mind cops being in the store when we're closed, because it's like, they're cops, they're not gonna steal. And she's like, "Okay." So I'm like waiting, because I'm like, fuck it, I'll just walk with you and they'll see it's me and they'll open the door. And as I'm waiting next to her squad car, the dude that came through drive-thru earlier that I totally forgot about was parked in the parking lot. Dude, he was like hunched over in his seat. And I was like, I looked over, and normally, man, look, if I know someone's like had a couple drinks and they're driving, as long as they're not like obliterated, I'm not gonna say shit. Or if they're stoned and driving, I'm not gonna say shit. I'm sorry, you can judge me, I've driven stoned before and drunk several times, and not even drunk, just like buzzed, it is what it is. But like, this dude was like obliterated, like leaned over in his seat, passed out. And I was like, okay, I'm not cool with that, because you're literally gonna get behind the wheel and like kill someone. So I look over at her, I'm like, "Dude, what's wrong with this guy?" I said, "I think he's passed out." So she goes and looks over and sees him, and then shines her flashlight on him and like, "Hey, what are you doing in there?" So I'm like, "All right, I'll see you later." I just got in my car and left. And then it gets even crazier. I don't know. There's a strawberry moon coming up, and it's been like almost full past couple days. Hell, it might have even been full yesterday, and it was kind of orange yesterday. I'm not sure if that was the strawberry moon, if I seen it and just didn't know. But so I don't know if there's something's got into people. So while I'm driving home, I drive down this little side road, and there's all this construction work going on. And there's a like SUV that's like halfway off the road, halfway on the road, lights are on. And I drive past it, it slammed into a fucking pile of gravel. And as soon as I'm driving past it, backs out real quick and drives off real quick. And I'm like, what is going on, dude? We got people passing out in my parking lot at work. Got people drunk driving, smashing into fucking piles of gravel. I don't know. It was just like insane. And then I got followed home by a cop after that. I'm like, why are you following me when there's all these crazy ass fools? You know, he didn't pull me over, but it's like, why are you following me when there's all these other crazy drunk people out, you know? But all right, sorry for that. I just had to share that shit. It was a crazy night, you know. But let's get on with the show. All right, so we're gonna talk some Diddy stuff today. At this point, I've done several episodes on Diddy, and I have like another episode planned. So I might have to start a P. Diddy playlist because this is going to be an ongoing thing, as I can tell. Kind of like the Epstein shit, kind of like, you know, multiple other different subjects. You know, sometimes there's just updates and the story keeps growing. And so keep an eye out for that. I will try to set one up today or tomorrow or sometime in the near future. So that way it's easily accessible to you if you're like interested in this case and those type of episodes and want to go check those episodes out. Plus it's easier when I say, hey, go check this episode out. You can just go playlist and there you go. Also, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up on wherever you're listening to this from. Rumble, Spotify, or YouTube. It's in the channel description. If you feel like giving $1 or something, hey, it helps me out. Pays for notebooks, pens, flash drives, shit like that. It goes towards the channel. So, because I'm doing this, you know, as my second gig. I work a full-time job, you know. All right, so let's get into some P. Diddy case stuff. So this is a little bit of older news, not super old, but it's still relevant. It happened a couple weeks ago. So Cassie Ventura is basically like an ex-girlfriend of Diddy or something along those lines. There was a love triangle between her, Kid Cudi, and P. Diddy. And she stood on trial and gave a testimony. So we're going to kind of get into that. She said she was a sex slave for P. Diddy. Just straight up said that. Claims P. Diddy, this is where it gets interesting. And I definitely think that P. Diddy was, in a way, kind of like Epstein, like a blackmail operation. Epstein, I think, was more Mossad. P. Diddy, I think, was more FBI, perhaps even CIA. So, she says that Hillary Clinton, and this is all alleged, this is for entertainment purposes, so she says that Hillary Clinton, Obama, were both part of and these are her words she used, satanic cabal trying to kill Trump, Donald Trump. So, the black-pilled people are going to go, I call bullshit, you know. Donald Trump's in on it too. There's no way that he's a good guy. And Look, man, I'm not saying that Trump is like a good person. I listen to a lot of Sam Tripoli, and he kind of put it best, man. That Trump is like a mobster, but like Hillary and Obama and the rest of those people, the other politicians, are more like chomos. So he always says like Trump is probably not a good guy. And, you know, I've heard some shady shit before. I did a whole episode called Orange Man Bad. Go check that episode out. But he's like, I don't think he's a chomo, you know. And playing devil's advocate, I talked about it during one of my previous Trump episodes. I think it was Trump versus Elon Musk. Go check that episode out. But a lot of people don't know that Donald Trump was one of the only few people to go to the FBI and do like in a 2-hour interview with them, interrogation about Epstein. Most people don't know that he was the only one to do that. The reason why he flew on the plane was literally because his plane was broken down, and Mar-a-Lago was close to Epstein's house, because Epstein has a house down there. So, I don't know. Just playing devil's advocate. And you guys know me, I'm not like a huge Trump tard and shit. I voted for him the last election, not the last one, but the one before that when it got stolen by Biden. And that was it. That was the one and only time I voted for Trump. Last election, I wanted to vote for RFK, and RFK dropped out, so I never voted last election. So the black-pilled people would say, no, Trump's a chomo. This is all a movie we are watching. You know, whatever. I'm kind of more of just what you would say, just a casual red pill. Eddie Bravo makes a good point. If everything is fake and it's all a movie, if all elections are fake, why would they try so hard to steal it? And that's a really good point, you know. I mean, unless this is the most extravagant theater ever, but to me it seems like kind of like the whole black-pilled mentality is kind of like an easy scapegoat of like, oh, it hurts my brain to go this deep down the rabbit hole, so I'm just gonna automatically just go, it's all fake, it's all theater, and then I don't have to worry about it, and it makes my reporting on it easier if I just say it's all fake, you know. Just saying. Kind of like not a scapegoat, but you know what I'm saying. So in court, she identified another sex slave, and his name was Jonathan Oddi, Oddi. In 2018, and this is what this dude is known for, John Oddi went to Trump Doral in Miami. So this is a place besides Mar-a-Lago. I guess he owns another place in Miami called Trump Doral. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's a resort or a hotel. I'll have to look into it. If you know, hit me up in the comments. In Miami, waving an American flag, attempting to shoot a chandelier to warn Trump. Hang on just a second, because this is crazy. To warn Trump, basically, that Hillary Clinton and Obama were a part of a satanic cabal to kill Donald Trump. So this dude goes in there waving an American flag, and I don't know what kind of gun he had, but I just imagine a machine gun like shooting at a chandelier. This is a crazy fucking story. So yeah, this dude John Oddi, I keep wanting to say John Gotti. Is that like a mobster or something? Just goes in there waving an American flag, yelling, shooting at a chandelier to warn Trump that Obama and Hillary are part of a satanic cabal trying to kill him. By the way, I'm not making fun of him because I suffer from mental illness. You guys know, I've told you, I've been open about it. I had to take a break for a little bit. I went through psychosis, you know. I told you all about that shit. That was a couple months back. I have mental illness, so I'm not making fun of this dude, but that definitely lets you know this dude is like mentally broken. Could he just be crazy? Maybe. I don't know. Gotta play devil's advocate. But going through all the shit that people have gone through at these Diddy parties, and if you're an alleged sex slave along with this other girl, Cassie Ventura, yeah, it's gonna break your fucking brain, dude. I mean, the brain can only take so much, you know. That's my thoughts on it. So he claimed that Diddy is part of the Black Illuminati, is what he called it. So, like I said, I'm a longtime listener of Tinfoil Hat. Shout outs to them. Go and check them out. Subscribe to them. Tell them who sent you. Maybe they'll give me a shout out one day. There was a old guest on there. His name was Larry Gators. And I actually had an interaction with this guy. And I did a whole episode on it. Go check out the time I pissed Larry Gators off. Go check that episode out. It's fucking hilarious. But he did put out, now, was the info legit? I don't know. But he seemed like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. He reminds me kind of like RV Russian vids back in the day, or like, yeah, like his type of shit. Like he sounded like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. He sounded like really knowledgeable and shit. And I've used some of his info on this. But when I think, separating myself from Larry Gators' work, when I think Black Illuminati, I think of Prince Hall Freemasonry. That's the only secret society that I know of, because I come from a Masonic family. I got a black uncle who's in Prince Hall. He's 33rd degree. I have a brother who's a Mason. I have a grandpa who used to be a Mason before he died, and his son, my father, was a Mason. So I come from like a Masonic family. That's the only one that I was aware of that I knew for a fact existed, was like Prince Hall Freemasonry. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on it one day. But, which by the way, dude, the white Masons like literally laugh at the Prince Hall Masons. Just letting you guys know. They call you guys' version like the retarded, dumbed down version of Masonry. Like you're not actually participating in real Masonry. I'm just letting you know. Don't get mad at me. I'm not a Mason. Get mad at your white brothers, you know. But he always talks about, Larry Gators, about this secret society called the Boule. So hit me up in the comments. I want to do a whole episode on the Boule because I really don't know much about them. Apparently there's a lot of rappers and sports athletes and stuff who are famous, who have tattoos, like Boule tattoos. But he always talks about this like Boule, this mysterious Boule. It's like the black version of the Illuminati. So I need to honestly look into it, do a whole episode on it. Hit me up in the comments if you're interested in something like that. So, and this is what he learned this, he said, Oddi, going back to John Oddi, he said he learned all of this when he was working as a sex slave. Well, not working because he was a slave. Well, not getting paid. You know what I'm saying. When he was being a sex slave during these Diddy parties, he could hear people overhearing conversations, and we're just going to call him Boule for now, or Prince Hall. Boule, and he said that Boule / aka Prince Hall people were talking about participating in pedophilia, animal abuse, And he didn't really go into, because he stood up and talked with this Cassie Ventura. He gave his own testimony too. Both of their testimonies kind of coincided. So he said that there was just animal abuse, and there was talk of pedophilia and talk of animal abuse. So this, like, he didn't go into detail about the animal abuse, so that my mind automatically conspiratorial goes, well, are we talking like bestiality? Were they doing bestiality with these animals and filming it to make like pornography or blackmail? Maybe there's like Hollywood elites who are into that shit, and Diddy had secret cameras, you know? By the way, dude, did you all see that Shaq interview where he's talking to a chick and he's got a ring on, and the girl's like interviewing him, is like, what is that ring? And he's like, it's a camera. It never shuts off. And he points it at her, and she's like, I don't want to be on camera. And he's like, well, I can't shut it off, you know? And like, it's like super awkward, super weird. And we all know that Shaq is like a 33rd degree Freemason. I think he owns Papa John's now, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories about Shaq. I like the dude personally. I have nothing bad to say about him. What was I saying then? Oh, and here's the thing though. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm an occultist. I've been a witch since I was, I'd say about 14 or 15 years old. Now, that being said, I did not participate in anything like this, but being an occultist, I study the occult. I've been studying this for 16, 17 years now, 18 years. There is a ceremony, and maybe we'll do a whole episode on it, called Oculum Infame. It's Latin, obviously. And this is how people would become witches back in the day of Puritan times, when they were like in those little Puritan cult communes, whatever you want to call them, colonies. Basically, the initiate, what they were doing was they were supposed to kiss and or rim out the asshole of the devil, symbolically. And obviously they were unable to summon the devil, probably because, in my opinion, a literal red-horned satyr-esque devil doesn't exist. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. So what they would do is they would get a cat, which would be a familiar. Everyone knows that occultists, witches, they use familiars, which are like animals that you practice your magic on to see if it works when you create spells, or you're just practicing spells, you know. So they would take like a black cat, like a familiar, and use it for the ceremony, and basically the initiate would lick the asshole of the cat. I know it sounds gross. We all know that magic is a very raunchy, gross, carnal practice. So, my mind immediately, as an occultist, my phone's overheating, so if the phone shuts down, I apologize. My mind immediately, as an occultist, went, ooh. Not like excited, ooh, but like, he said that they were participating in animal abuse. He never talked about what type of abuse. Were they practicing, like, oculum infame? Or there's another ceremony, like, I'm not going to get into it because that's just a whole nother rabbit hole. But I've talked about it on this channel before, of what I've heard the Knights Templar do with basically, they have like well, I'll just go into it then. I wouldn't say this is animal abuse though, but I've heard about riding the goat, which is basically like in Freemasonry, they'll ask you to ride the goat, and I'm not gonna rehash all this shit. Yeah, my mind went to, was there any sort of animal abuse as far as like ritual, which would also be considered too, like, were they doing animal sacrifices? Was that something, obviously, that would be animal abuse? And there was a rapper dude who came out years ago and said they were sacrificing goats and shit. So, he said that basically there was satanic rituals going on, and CIA and MK Ultra were both mentioned, that it's CIA connected, MK Ultra connected, which does not surprise me at all. It is mind-blowing that all this shit's coming out. I guess Cat Williams was right. Yeah. And he also mentioned Bohemian Grove, which that one, MK Ultra and Bohemian Grove used to be like, back in the day, used to be like deep fucking conspiracies, but that shit is almost like public knowledge now. It's really not even surprising. And can I tell you a little bit of shit about Bohemian Grove that I know? First of all, because I've delved deep into it, obviously. I mean, I've been doing this. I was born and raised in a conspiracy family, and I've been doing this as a career for like 10 years, a decade now. Bohemian Grove, first of all, the owl statue is not even named Molech. Molech was a bull-headed man-body deity that the ancient Jews worshipped and sacrificed babies to. Never anywhere is it a fucking owl. I do have a book literally called the Book of Lilith, which one day, maybe we'll do an episode on that book. It's a real short book. Pick it up if you can ever find it. And it's literally all about Lilith. Everything you want to know about Lilith. It's called the Book of Lilith. It's awesome. She actually has been represented symbolically as an owl, and supposedly can shapeshift into an owl. So who's to say that statue isn't Lilith? There's no evidence ever that I've found that links owls to Molech. I'm not saying it's not a satanic entity. Lilith is satanic as fuck, but I think it's Lilith. The only reason that old Molech shit has stuck was literally Alex Jones was like, that's Molech, that's Molech. Never gave any evidence why it's Molech, so it just stuck. It's not Molech. It's probably Lilith. And another thing about that statue is originally it was planned to be Buddha. Most people don't even know this. Now, I personally think, this is my theory, that Bohemian Grove was like, oh, we can't use Buddha, we can't do the cremation of care to Buddha. Like, it's not cool enough, dude. It's not metal enough, you know? And I kind of agree. Can you imagine all these people in like orange monk outfits, like doing the cremation of care to Buddha, you know? It's not as mysterious and dark and spooky and shit. And I do think that they care about those type of aesthetics, you know? I mean, they are evil motherfuckers. Sabbaty and Frankist, in my opinion. That, and honestly, dude, obviously they take occultism and invert it, but the cremation of care, like, in the hands of, like, a white mage or someone who's a white magician, you know? Someone who's an occultist who's not an evil piece of shit, it's kind of actually a cool ceremony. Like, you literally put all your cares, any regrets you have, into this fake doll and burn it and go, okay, I can't care about that anymore. that kind of ties in with like Alcoholics Anonymous, and just honestly, just like I have to forgive myself. I don't know. It's kind of sounds therapeutic. I've never done it, you know, but all right. So we're gonna wrap it up there. I just wanted to do a little update on the P. Diddy case of old Ventura girl and John Oddi going crazy at the Trump place and what they said in court. Mind-blowing shit, dude. This shit goes deep, homeboy. As in the words of Sam Tripoli's. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day.